Is this thing on?
Nope.
LOL. Oh, it probably shouldn't be, if we're being honest. But welcome back to another episode of Going For It. We are here with just the dynamic duo tonight. One that will be more carried by the dynamic Uno, Mike Thomas. Um, so we are going to talk Week 14 football. We'll reminisce a little on what happened in Week 13. But first, we will kick off the show as we always do, announcing our winner of last week, who is yours truly. 10 correct selections. Second place, OG Sourpuss with a strong 8. And then Gamblin' Craig and Mike Spillane back at 7. Craig continuing to now lose ground. He had that one excellent week.
Monster week.
Back
Tied
to
for
losing
best
ground.
of the week of the season,
season.
and there were a lot of buys last week. So probably best correct percentage wise.
Yeah, percentage wise for sure. And then he goes back and halves it this week. So
yeah, not good.
Craig pulling a Craig, and I respect it. I appreciate it. But yeah, I am atop the leaderboard last week, and I believe that puts me top in the standings by 2 correct picks. You and I are extending our gap, our lead on Mike Spillane and Craig Brooks. Mike has a correct picks of 105, Craig's 102. So they seem to be battling it out for the toilet bowl as we continue on being the excellencies of excellence.
This was a big week for you because we were tied coming into it. So the 2 that you got this week feels, as we get closer, like 2 feels hard to overcome.
2 feels tough.
But it also is just 1 week away too.
It's right. It's correct. And like the way that picks happen, like I look at what I've selected and I feel like I've taken some risk this week, but risk has done me well. Risk has, I feel like, especially last week going against you guys a couple times, kind of worked out for me. But we'll talk about it. So we're going to start with what may be the most boring Thursday night game we have this season.
Shut your mouth, sir.
New England Patriots at Pittsburgh Steelers.
Don't
Pittsburgh
call him
Steelers.
that.
Sans Kenny
Everybody.
Pickett. He is so I looked at your injury report. Najee is the banged upness. Minka is on the injury report, but not expected to miss any time at all, which is wild to me. I was like, he broke his hand. So obviously he's going to club it, which is awesome. That's so cool. When a football player is just like, yeah, I'm just going to wear a club and beat the ball out of the air and also people. I was like, that's sweet.
Do you remember there was a period in time where Brett Favre threw the ball so hard he was shattering his receiver's fingers?
Yes, I do remember this.
And it always felt like his receivers played better when they had a broken finger. Like they just must have had just enough padding on the hand to protect it that it allowed him to catch the ball better. And it always felt like, oh, he's got a broken finger? Good. He's going to have a better week this week than he did last week.
He's going to catch 10 balls, 120 yards, 2 tutties, easy. All right. So
some of those football lives, they hold up their hands and it's just like gnarled,
mangled.
Yeah.
Mangled. It's like anytime AJ Hawk does it on Pat McAfee, I'm just like, your fingers are fucked, bro. Not good. So did not play. Kenny Pickett, he's been ruled out. Najee Harris is questionable with a knee. James Pierre is out. He's a corner for you guys, allegedly. Isaac Suamalo, shoulder is questionable. I feel like offensive guys, those guards, those tackles always play regardless of like shoulder stuff. Limited, you had no one of note other than Cam Hayward, but that was more rest.
Yeah, he's got the old man rest going.
Hey, man, do it. Then Minka was listed with the hand injury, and that was it. Like, and Minka again came out and said, "I'm not missing games. It is not expected that he misses games." I'm going to take Pittsburgh here, even though New England put in one of the best defensive performances I've seen against the Chargers. But that's a double-edged sword because like you did a really good defense against the Chargers, who are a team that literally has the most lame duck head coach, and everyone knows it. Everyone is aware of it.
They have given up 10 points or less in their last 3 games and are
lost
0-3.
every single one. Yep.
This team stinks.
They're so bad.
They're so bad. This is one of the worst offenses I have seen in a long time. And I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers every week. So
you saw the entire Matt Canada tenure.
The entire tenure, all of it was trash. I am super nervous for this week, though, because I do not trust Mitchell Trubisky to not turn the ball over a bunch.
It is fair.
I feel like, so every year, Tomlin is a great coach. There's a lot of naysayers out there. The only thing there's 2 things that I say is a bit, or will go down as a big knock on Tomlin in his coaching tenure. He's not perfect, but he's great. He, every year, like clockwork, loses to a bad team that they should thump. And it always seems like he lets the players look past this week, which is so wild to me, because that's not the type of coach he is.
No.
Or he doesn't talk about it in the sense of looking past players, looking past games, or anything like that. But the players obviously play that way if you watch the games for any sense of time. And this has been going on for the entire time Tomlin has been with the Steelers. This is not a recent thing. They just always have one game where they're like, this team stinks. They have no chance of winning this game, and Pittsburgh completely overlooks them and gets stomped. And there were even players after this last one like, yeah, we just thought we were going to dominate and didn't care. And how does that happen? And I'm worried it's going to happen again when you have Trubisky throwing the ball over 3 or 4 times a game.
Yeah, that honestly, I picked New England first, and then I thought about it, and like, as good as their defense is, their offense is just inept. And they don't have Ramondre Stevenson. So like, I don't think Bailey Zappi is going to be able to take this nuts and bolts version of wide receivers, tight ends, a backup running back that's toast. Ezekiel Elliott hasn't been relevant in 5 years. And beat the Steelers team. This defense is too good. And the Patriots are excellent at stopping the run, but Trubisky is good enough at quarterback, and if you guys call enough screens, slants, whatever.
We're terrible at screens. Terrible at them.
Well, honestly, you're playing the Patriots. I think that this is going to be a boring as shit game, but I do think Pittsburgh is going to win. I believe the Patriots have a rookie kicker, or maybe they cut him. I can't remember. But I know their kicker isn't automatic. Being and kicking in Pittsburgh favors Boswell, who's got a great leg, excellent kicker. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game, but I do not think it's going to be a blowout by any means. Obviously, Vegas doesn't either, with thinking that it's going to be what is the over-under 30.5, I think I read.
Oh, I don't see the total over-under. I see Pittsburgh 6-point favorites, and I think that's
generous.
Yes, for Pittsburgh.
I would take the under on that. Give me New England all day just on points. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 6.
I mean, I can't remember the last time Pittsburgh won by a tutty. It just it always seems to come down to the wire with them. I'm taking New England, but we all knew that. I would feel a lot better about this game if Kenny Pickett was playing. If Kenny Pickett was playing, I would not have any concern about this game. If Trubisky had a full week to prepare for this game, I would feel a lot better. The fact that it's a Thursday game concerns me more than it otherwise would, but I still think Pittsburgh should win, which terrifies me.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I understand. So moving along, we're going to go to the Tampa Bay at Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta in this game. I took them last week. They are a quarterback away from being a really scary team. They are one quarterback away from being a team that you're like, this team's got some talent. They're talented defensively. They have a lot of pieces on offense. Kyle Pitts allegedly plays football there. They really don't I know he was out last week, but like they don't feature him in the offense enough, and that's foolish. He is a mismatch. He is a nightmare to cover. But I don't believe in Baker. I don't believe in Baker. They barely squeaked one out against the Panthers last week. Give me the Falcons here at home against the Bucks to lock in that divisional lead.
Yeah, I'll take Atlanta too. I think you're right. I think they're a quarterback away, but I think they're also a head coach away.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I don't like Arthur Smith. I don't think he's that good.
I think he's too conservative. I don't think he gets the most out of his players. But Atlanta plays well at times, and then they play like trash at times. So who's it going to be? I don't know. I'm tired of picking Atlanta. I wish I could just not pick their games every week because I don't know what to do. Every time I buy into them, they stink. Every time I shy away from them, they seem to play really well. So I'll take him at home here to beat Tampa Bay, who's another one of those, real streaky teams. Like, get some Charmin over there. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just the quarterback, man. It's just Baker is not. I like Baker, the quarterback. He's fun. I don't necessarily like him as a player. I don't like him as a consistency guy. Like you never know what version of Baker you're gonna get. And yeah, I think the Falcons are the play. Moving along, Detroit at Chicago.
Didn't we just have this game?
I believe we did, and it was bad. Chicago got murdered, I think.
I thought that was the game that Goff, one of his 3 or 4 turnover games. And it was one that Chicago was doing well, and then they kind of gave it away
they
at the end.
dropped the bag at the end, I think is what happened. I think
it's the best of both worlds for Chicago fans because they could actually watch their team do well, but then also
and then they lose.
Protect their pick.
Yeah, I mean, well, Carolina's pick is going to be number 1. It does not look like they are going to be able to throw another win together this season. Tampa Bay was their best shot.
You're welcome, Chicago, to let Arizona get another win in there for you.
Man, just get a little breathing room.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to take the Bears here. I have been very, and this podcast has spoken very glowingly of Jared Goff. To me, he is lacking a lot of confidence, and this Bears team coming off of a bye, I feel like is going to give him some problems. I think Justin Fields and DJ Moore are going to do stuff. This is more hopeful because I have DJ Moore on my fantasy team. But I like the Bears against the Lions in Chicago. Goff does not seem to be golfing right now. And I'm going to take Chicago.
I think 6 turnovers in the last 2 games of November probably does a lot to shake one's confidence. No turnovers last week, but your defense almost gave it away after running up to a big score. So that's a little terrifying. I don't know what to think necessarily from this game. I will take Detroit because I think they're the better team. I will take them to win in this game. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think Chicago is going to keep it relatively close because I don't think Detroit's defense can stop them that much. So I don't know what the over is on this game, but I'll take it.
But yes.
But I'll take it.
Oh, I think this game, Chicago was up like 12 or something in the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes to go, and then they lost the game.
Yeah,
I think that was this game.
I was in North Carolina at a bar watching the Steelers game, pulling my hair out because that was the Steelers-Browns game. And then I kept glancing over at the Detroit-Chicago game on TV. Jared Goff was my fantasy quarterback because things aren't going well in the quarterback landscape for me in that league. And every time I looked over, he's turning the ball over and I'm pulling my hair out even more. So there's no safe place for me to look. And I swear every time I looked, it was a turnover. I didn't even realize that they won that game until like 2 days later.
You were like, wait, they won that?
Yeah. How did they win that game when every time I looked, it was a turnover?
Yeah. I like Chicago there. I like Chicago for the upset. Next game, very interesting. Indianapolis at Cincinnati. We had pegged Cincinnati for dead, and they might have been if Trevor Lawrence stays in that game, but Cincinnati ends up coming back. T. Higgins with one catch in that first down made me lose fantasy last week. I'm very upset. With
Oof.
that, yeah, I'm very upset. It was a bad week for my team. It was a terrible week for my team, and that
Same.
one catch and first down did bad things to me internally. With that being said, I'm going to take the Bengals here because they're at home and for literally no other reason.
How about Jake Browning, 354 yards passing, one touchdown, like
one tutty.
What? How did this Cincinnati team go out there and drop 34 points on Jacksonville? I don't care if they won that loss. A good Jacksonville defense. Like, who cares if they won or lost? I get that they won, but 34 points with your backup quarterback like that is pretty impressive. And what's really bothering me is now I'm questioning, did I start Joe Mixon last week? Because he got 2 touchdowns.
I didn't start Joe Mixon last week, and that is another reason why I lost. Because he was terrible the week before, and I was like, no, you're coming out. I'm putting Jaylen Warren in. He's been the hot hand, and I shit the bed there. That was on me. So
I'm afraid to look to see. He didn't start. I didn't start him. He was on my bench.
Yeah, you did what I did.
No, I started Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, he got hurt.
Good news is I still would have lost.
Well, then it doesn't hurt as bad. If I play Mixon, I win aggressively. So
yeah. I would have lost aggressively.
Well, can't win them all, allegedly.
I haven't.
But yeah, Browning has me excited to see this Bengals team and where they can go, especially in the AFC, which looks like it's not as set as people would have anticipated.
The AFC playoff picture is kind of wild. I mean, is Miami in danger of losing that? Even if they struggle the last 3 games of the season, I don't think they're in danger of losing the 1 seed anymore.
Not with that loss last week from Kansas City.
No, that's exactly it. The KC loss kind of really helped out because it was Kansas City.
And what did we say? If Miami has home field throughout the whole playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team.
For sure.
It looks like they're going to have home field through the whole thing. So you have to go into Miami and win. So that's not great. That's not great for other teams in the playoffs. However, we still haven't seen Miami beat up on a team that's over 500. So
right, but they looked bad on the road against good teams. Who knows how they do at home, especially a warm South Florida in the wintertime.
It's true. Who do they have this week?
Some garbage team.
Yeah, they're playing trash. Oh, the Titans. Yeah, that should be an easy win. Anyway, who are you taking in this Colts Bengals matchup?
I don't want to sleep on the Colts here. I feel like the Colts are decidedly middle of the road, but they've won 4 in a row. Yes, it's against Carolina, New England, Tennessee, and Tampa Bay. But, their schedule's the schedule. And I think they're a dangerous team for not good teams to play, if that makes sense. So, like Cincinnati, it's going to be a hard game for them to go out there and win. Pittsburgh, I think it's going to be a hard game for the Colts to go out there and win. Atlanta, hard game. Like, they might win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think there's another game except Houston at the end of the year that Indy is really going to be really struggling. Do I think they win all these games? No, but Indy's playing really well right now. So I'm going to take the Colts.
I like it. I could have honestly gone either way and I would have been happy. Jacksonville at Cleveland. Jaguars looking like they're going to start Beathard, who might also be a little banged up. And the Browns being the Browns. I think they're starting DTR. The thing that has me, I'm going Cleveland here. The thing that has me going with the Browns is the fact that Jacksonville couldn't stop Browning last week. This Browns defense is significantly better than the Jags defense. Significantly better than the Jags defense. I got to go Brownies here. It's going to be close. It's going to be ugly, but I think the Browns are going to take this one.
I'm going to take Cleveland to win this game. Especially if Jacksonville had Trevor Lawrence, I would take them to win. But backup quarterback going against Cleveland, in Cleveland, I will take the Browns defense, but I'm not confident in it at all. That vaunted Browns defense has given up, of their last 4 games, 36 points, 29 points, 10 points, 31 points. And you know who those 10 points came against? Frickin' Pittsburgh.
Frickin' Pittsburgh.
But that's not the stat line of a defense that you're really scared about. And I don't know what changed, but I don't know. Maybe the Browns defense is a little different, a little bit of a shell of what it was early in the season when they were only letting up 3 points for several weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it probably has to do with the fact that they're on the field more now than they have been. I think that's something that's overlooked a lot in football when you look at defenses and stuff. Cleveland, with the quarterback situation being in flux, not having Nick Chubb, like their defense is probably on the field a lot more than they anticipated them being when they paid Deshaun Watson all of the money. All of it. And then also having Nick Chubb, who is arguably the best true running back in the NFL. Obviously Christian McCaffrey can be in that conversation as well, but like true running back guy you hand the ball to, runs it between the tackles and is like 4 yards guaranteed every time. I think that changes the way your defense has to play, and maybe the Browns aren't built for that, but the Jags just showed me Cincinnati's defense is not good. And they couldn't move the ball in overtime. They couldn't, I feel I agree with you. I think Cleveland is like, but also I'm not sold on this Jags team. They had just started winning me over, winning with Trevor. And now that you're going to CJ, you lost me again. You lost me. Not excited. Moving along to the game that we'll probably have to talk the least about, maybe the next two, to be honest. Carolina at New Orleans. Give me the Saints.
Saints. Give me the Aints.
The Aints are going to do it probably. Divisional games. This is why we play in the NFL, like this is why the game needs to happen. Carolina could win. But
they won't.
Fuck, man. They won't. They're so bad.
No, here's what I'm going to hang my hat on this year. I'm not going to win the pick'em. I already know that. You're going to win the pick'em from me. I was in first place all year long in my fantasy league until last week when I lost, and now I'm in second place. And there's a chance I don't even make the playoffs because I've lost 3 in a row. So the only thing that I will have to hang my hat on this year is that I will have correctly picked the only Carolina win of the season.
You did do that.
They are not going to win another game.
Defiantly,
it's just not going to happen.
You were very adamant about it. You were like, and you should have put money down on that game. You were so confident picking that you should have put money down. And
I remember a lot of hemming and hawing.
There was, but like when you made your commitment, you were like, no, they're going to win this game, and it's going to be the only game they win this season. And I was like, all right, bro.
Maybe I should have done that of like, I will pick that and the rest of the games for them in the season. Win, loss, parlay that to the money.
It would have been great. It's just, and we talked about it last week. I think last week, maybe the week before. The path out of irrelevancy for them is so bad. Like it just doesn't seem like there's a path at this moment because you gave away the first pick. You had the pick. You could have got the guy, whoever it is that you wanted, and you gave it away last year to get Bryce, who is at this moment the second best quarterback in that quarterback class, third, because Will Levis is also kind of doing fine in Tennessee. Like, It's not great.
Their way out, it's a multi-year journey. It's the only way out for them at this point, unless they somehow get a superstar. It's patience, and that owner doesn't show it. They need to go find a coach that can instill a culture of playing hard football and winning. Look at Detroit. The culture comes first, winning comes second. And that's really hard sometimes for players. And a lot of coaches don't have the ability. If they're not winning, they don't get to stay there long enough to actually instill that culture. But they have no draft picks. So it's a lot easier to go hire a coach, give him a commitment of like 5 years, and let him build a culture in the clubhouse so that when he does get some picks, the guys are able to step into a somewhat of a healthy culture in the NFL, not like what they got going on now.
Right. And like to piggyback on that, I agree with what you're saying, but you need to also you have to have a coach that can build culture the right way. Because, for example, Detroit, again, before Dan Campbell was Matt Patricia, and he came in and he was like, I'm going to do this the Belichick way. And it's like, no. You have not earned the ability to do it the Belichick way.
Correct.
You have to be able to earn that. And like Dan Campbell was like, I'm going to do up downs with you guys. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I haven't done or won't do. And the players respond to that. I think a guy that tried to do that and obviously didn't work is Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer came in and was like, look at my giant college football ring and I'm big dick on campus. And it's like, you're not on campus, honey. This is the NFL.
He didn't fly home with his team after a loss so he could go to a club with somebody who wasn't his wife.
It was his establishment, and he was like, I'm going to touchle up on this girl who could be my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're a creepy old man. You are a creepy old man.
Maybe I'm out of place. But I feel like a coach not flying home with his team is auto fire.
Yeah, immediately.
Just right then.
And then all the other shit that happened too, like he's kicking the kicker and like saying shit to other people. And it's like, dude, who the fuck are you? In this league, you have done zero.
Best worst coach of all time.
Absolutely. The Jamarcus Russell, the Ryan Leaf of coaches. Moving right along. Houston at the Jets. Woo. Guess what, baby? Zach Wilson is back.
Is he? Hold on a second. Did he agree to start, or did they name him starter?
They named him the starter, and I don't know what that means. But the Zach attack is back, baby, and I'm taking Houston all fucking day.
Here's the deal. Zach Wilson is far and away the best quarterback on the Jets roster right now.
Absolutely.
Zach Wilson certainly has not played great throughout the season, but he has shown flashes of playing really well. He's had stretches where he's played very, very well. That offensive line is so horrendous, and his confidence is so fragile. And I guess I forgot at how much he does not have that locker room behind his back. Like they, I guess, don't like him at all.
I mean, nothing makes you appreciate Zach Wilson like having to catch a ball from Tim Boyle is what I learned, because they fucking released him and went back to Zach so fast.
But didn't they go like, hey, Zach, you're going to be our starter? And he's like, I don't really want to.
That's what the rumor is, yes. He was like, no.
Yeah. I think I'm good just collecting my dollars and sitting here. I got a thumb injury.
Well, so this goes into what we've talked about with the Jets. I feel seemingly from the beginning of the season. And like I did a rant about this 2 weeks ago. This is one of the most mismanaged football teams in the NFL. They have the most money, not the most money, but they have a shit ton of money. And like for a team that was a massive, massive buyer this offseason, I don't know that this team would be this much better with Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. I don't even want to get into Aaron Rodgers the person, because he literally makes me sick. I made a tweet about it today. I was like, I hope he bangs his shin on the coffee table every morning he wakes up. Like, that's what I hope for Aaron Rodgers. I hope for no professional success. I hope for only professional hardship on the football field. Wins and losses, I hope all losses. That's what I want. And I hope you bang your shin every morning on the coffee table. That's
Just
what I
the
want.
toe stub,
Yeah,
the pinky
every
toe
day.
stub.
Every day. That's what I want, because that's how much I dislike you as a human being. But removing it from that situation, from that, is like, I don't know how much better this team is with him. That offensive line is so bad. They have so many holes on the offensive line. They underutilize weapons constantly. And guess what? Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible offensive coordinator. He is maybe the worst offensive coordinator in football now that Josh McDaniels is out of football currently.
I am not going to sit here and take this slander of talking about worst offensive coordinators and Matt Canada doesn't get mentioned.
You know what? You're right. Matt Canada should have been in there. But honestly, can you say Matt Canada is better than Nathaniel Hackett? Or significantly worse? That they're
Yes.
not possibly on par?
Yes. I don't have to watch Nathaniel Hackett on a regular basis.
Well, that's fair.
I had to watch Canada for 3 years, and it's atrocious.
It's true. But like, Canada also was winning games in spite of what he's doing. Nathaniel Hackett is not, and has not for 2 years. For 2 years, he has shown that he cannot run an offense or call an offense that will win football games that is not led by Aaron Rodgers. Look at what Russ is doing in Denver now, and look at what he did last year. This version of Russ is closer to the version that won a Super Bowl and went to another than the one of last year. And like, what's the common denominator here? Fucking Nathaniel Hackett. So he is bad, and the only reason he's there is because of Rodgers.
Yep.
And this team has fucked Zach Wilson. He was drafted too high, and then he was thrown in because they were just like, fuck it. Like, we're not going to let Joe Flacco throw the ball anymore. You're in, Zach. And then it was like, oh, well, you got to come out, Zach. And then it was like, well, you're our starter this season, Zach. And then it was like, well, you're doing bad, so we're pulling you again, Zach. And then this year it was like, okay, you're going to sit for a couple years behind Aaron. You're going to learn, and then you'll rise and take your place. Well, Aaron gets hurt 4 plays in. Zach is forced again to be the starter, and they have put him in a no-win situation. You just benched him, and you didn't even bench him to be the backup. You made him the third. It was publicly stated that he was the third string quarterback on the depth chart, behind Tim fucking Boyle, whose stats we went through last week, also an Aaron Rodgers guy, by the way. And now you're like, you're the guy, Zach. Fuck Trevor Siemian. It's you. You are the guy. This franchise is so ridiculous.
Yeah. The coach there, is it Saleh? How do you say his name?
Yeah, Bob Saleh.
I was giving him a pass for most of the season.
Yeah,
I thought
fair.
The issues were GM related, ownership related, and the fact that and I'm sure he was involved in the decision, and he certainly seemed super excited at having Rodgers there. So I think he was 100% equally involved with the decision to bring Rodgers back. There's nothing that makes me think that somebody went over his back and he didn't want Rodgers to be there. Rodgers coming there is a bad decision, not because Rodgers got hurt 4 plays into the season. It's because he brought Hackett, he brought Lazard, he brought
Cobb,
a bunch of guys with him.
Boyle, he brought
a bunch of guys who have not panned out for the Jets at all. So somebody needs to go to Rodgers and be like, you're a player. You're not a GM. You will play for us, and we will go and hire a new offensive coordinator and bring in the best players that will help us win games, not the people that will make you feel comfortable. So I think it was mainly a GM issue that did all this, but the way that this quarterback stuff has been mishandled the past couple of weeks is totally on Saleh. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's been a massive amount of player mismanagement, and it's just, it has to be all on him.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up Allen Lazard's stats for this season.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, dude. it it is the most worth it of any signing for $44 million you will ever hear.
44 mil.
44 mil. This season, after last week's December 3rd. Okay, so for 2 weeks, he's gone over.
Okay.
The week before against Vegas, he had 1 catch for 17 yards.
Okay. Not
The
good.
Chargers, he had 2 catches for 18 yards.
Not great.
The Giants game that they were so hyped, it's Jet Life Stadium, 3 catches for 45 yards.
Hey.
Okay,
Hey.
all right. The week before that, though, 1 catch for 8 yards against Philly.
Not good.
So in spite of me going through a massive amount of these games, on the season, he has 20 catches for 290 yards and 1 touchdown.
That's not good.
He signed a deal this year. Let me see. Contract, I know it was 44 mil. 4 years, $44 million. And $22 million in guaranteed money.
And he's got 290 yards.
290 yards.
That's $37,931 per yard.
That's so good, right? Isn't that good?
That's a steal.
This guy was brought in because of Aaron Rodgers is dropping the ball. Randall Cobb even openly said in Hard Knocks, we were all contemplating retirement, but when Aaron called and he was going to the Jets, we were like, okay, we can do this. And it's like, just no. Like, Aaron Rodgers, the player, needs to be Aaron Rodgers, the player. And I know, like, he did this whole thing on McAfee where he was like, oh, I'm not requesting, I don't have a list of players that I want, but like, it's weird how all of those players ended up on this team. And like the offensive coordinator that you loved, that is so great, ended up on this team. And
it is possible that the Jets were like desperate. They convinced themselves they needed to bring in Rodgers and were going to do whatever it took to make him happy. We saw that on Hard Knocks. They gave him
everything.
They basically made that the Aaron Rodgers show. Everything about that camp was structured around Aaron Rodgers being the guy. So I could see
the offensive line. Except
the offensive line. But I could see how he wouldn't come in of like, I'm not demanding that these players are here, but the team is like, who do you want? We know you like this guy. We know you like these guys. Come on, we're going to just sign them and bring them in. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and it's super plausible because it seems like that's how the Jets have run this franchise for so long. But like, it is time for the Jets to run this franchise as the Jets and not, who does this coach want to come in and be on his defense? Who does who does Rex Ryan want to be his blah, blah, blah? Like, no, run it like a football organization, not like a popularity contest.
They don't know how to do that. Most teams don't.
Well, obviously there's only one Super Bowl champ every year. So like, but I don't think Kansas City is necessarily, running popularity contests or anything like that. But
I think the Rams did.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. All of this to say, I'm taking the Texans by 1 million. I don't give a shit.
I'm taking the Jets. No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking the Strouds.
The Houston Strouds. Rams at Baltimore. I gotta take Baltimore here.
Baltimore.
The Rams. They're doing fine, but I gotta take Baltimore. I think Baltimore's the better team, top to bottom.
Ugh, I hate it.
Sorry, man. I'm still not convinced Lamar Jackson's a guy, but like, he's playing well. He's playing well, and that's like, he's not playing great. He doesn't have these amazing numbers, but like, he is good enough to win games, and I truly believe that.
Yep.
Minnesota at Vegas. Who you taking here?
I really need Minnesota's offense to come to life in this one. I really need Justin Jefferson to score. I need TJ Hawkinson to score. I even have Dobbs on my team. Like, I need everybody to score. So I'm going to take Vegas because they're not gonna, because I need them to.
Well,
So I'll take Las Vegas for this one.
I am also going to take Vegas, but not because I think that they're not going to score. I just think that Vegas finally figured out what they are. And they are a team that needs to give the ball to Devontae Adams 12 to 14 times a game. Josh Jacobs finally seemed to be getting his legs under him, and I believe they were on a bye last week. So I always think a bye favors, and they're home. Like, I think that favors you big time.
Yep.
Even with Jefferson coming back, I know he's full. He was full at practice today, or I think it was today. He was a full
It sure
participant.
seems like they really pampered that injury, and it got to the point where he could have played a couple of weeks ago, but they were like, take the extra time, get through this game, you have the bye week, and then you'll really come back at a much better place rather than trying to force it.
Well, and like dumping on the Jets aside, like I don't know if I'm Justin Jefferson that I come back, because I'm due for a contract. Like last year, my contract is next year. I'm ready to sign an extension, and the Vikings have shown me they do not. They don't have the defense for us to compete. The offense is me and Kirk Cousins, who is going to be 37 next year. We're not picking high enough to get premium talent, and we're not willing to move pieces. Like, we brought in Hawkinson last year and signed him to the biggest tight end contract. That's great, but like, what was he doing before Jefferson got hurt? Nothing. He wasn't doing anything. And like, Jefferson got hurt, and his he got more targets, more looks and stuff. But like, prior to that, that was a big bust for a lot of people that took Hawkinson high thinking he was going to be a dude. I was one of those people. I didn't take him, but like, I didn't have the opportunity because he was taken.
Right.
So the Vikings also feel like one of those teams like the Jets that are like in that middle ground of, and the Panthers, who we spoke about, who just don't have the capital right now. They're just in that, like, how are you going to fix this? Are you going to full tank, or are you going to go spend all of the money to try and bring in pieces to make this team competitive? Because that defense is not good enough to win you a playoff game.
Nope.
Sorry. Showed it last year. Not good enough. So I'm going to go Vegas there. Seattle at San Fran. Who you taking, Mike? This one feels like could be a toss-up.
I mean, it's Seattle versus probably the best team in the NFL again. So San Francisco, I mean, my goodness.
Did they stomp on the neck of the Eagles or what?
And they spotted them a quarter.
They really did,
said,
too.
You take the first quarter. This is on you, pal. And then they went Harlem Globetrotters on them.
It was bad.
Game of the year.
Oh my God. It was awesome. It was so cool. And like, the Eagles, watching that game, the Eagles shouldn't have been as far out of it as they were. But like, the 49ers came in with an agenda and they blew the goddamn doors off. It was, and in Philly, like, if the Niners are going to play in Philly again, they already showed you that, like, they're not afraid.
And I don't know what Philly does to fix it.
No, because they beat them every way. They beat them rushing. Like, Shaquille, Shaq, is he still Shaq Leonard? No, he's Darius Leonard now. I can't remember. They just signed the former middle linebacker from the Colts, who is supposed to help their running attack, like their rushing defense. One player is not going to make you guys unstoppable. Like, their offensive line was bullying your defensive line. Like, Jalen Carter was in tears on the sideline. Like, their defense was swarming the ball. You guys you had no answers. Like, I don't know how the Eagles win that game. I really don't. Like, no amount of anything. If the Niners stay healthy, injury, that's how the Eagles win that game. Because
correct,
the Niners put their foot down and like defiantly said, we are the best team in the NFC. At least we might be the best team in the NFL.
Yep, I agree.
So I'm going to take the Niners over the Seahawks too, because I think you'd have to be stupid to take the Seahawks here.
Now, 10.5 point favorites over Seattle.
In San Francisco no, I wouldn't take that, because coming off the Philly win, I think there's going to be a little bit of like,
ooh, Good
But I
point.
don't think it's going to be enough that Seattle can win. I don't think it's going to be that much.
I was gonna take the over, but you're right. I still think San Francisco wins, but I would take Seattle on points.
I think that emotional hangover from that game is going to be real. And DK, not to mention DK is going. He went off last week.
I needed it to be Ayuk. He scored one, and then every time they're scoring a touchdown, I'm like, yeah, no,
wrong. Yeah. So the Niners are scary, man. I wouldn't want to play San Francisco. And like, honestly, just do a zoom out. If we got a Niners Dolphins Super Bowl, that would be the coolest, most exciting fucking Super Bowl ever.
60-70 would be the score. Like,
it would be so awesome.
The only thing would be if San Francisco, there's no way Miami's defense stops them. The only thing would be if San Francisco can stop Miami with their defense.
Yeah, it would just be, how do you stop Tyreek Hill? That would be
pretty much.
If they can stop Tyreek, I have confidence in San Fran at every other level that they can contain Achane, that they can contain Jaden Waddle, that they can like health. All I want is for the rest of the season, just give me health. Also, Brock Purdy should not be MVP. I disagree with that entirely.
No, it'd be either McCaffrey.
I just meant like NFL MVP, because they're saying that like Purdy is the favorite to win NFL MVP this season.
He's not even the most MVP on his team.
No, and I think MVP this season goes to Tyreek Hill. Like,
I would 100% be behind that.
Full stop.
For sure.
Tyreek Hill should be the NFL MVP this season.
Yeah.
But especially if he hits 2K. If he hits 2K, it's Tyreek. I don't give a shit. Like, you can't give it to a quarterback. There's not a quarterback more important to his team than Tyreek Hill was as a wide receiver to his team.
Yeah, I agree.
Buffalo at KC, dare I say, must-win game for both teams.
It has to be. How many in a row have Kansas City lost now? 2 in a row.
I think it's 2 in a row.
I mean, Buffalo felt like they lost the bye week.
They really did feel like that.
It's a rematch. It's 2 quarterbacks. I'm super hyped for this game. I hope it's going to be good. Kansas City has to win this game, right? But Buffalo also has to win it.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Chiefs
a must
have gone win one, lose one. So they won the Chargers, lost the Broncos, won the Dolphins, lost the Eagles.
Okay.
Won the Raiders, lost the Packers.
So you're saying that they're due for a win.
In line of the pattern that they've concocted the last couple of weeks, yes, they are scheduled to win.
This is actually really cool. It's a must win for both. This could be the difference between Buffalo making the playoffs versus not making the playoffs. What's that division like for Kansas City?
I think they've got the division in hand. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. They're 2 games up on Denver.
Yeah. And like Denver's the one that's challenging them. So sad.
Ooh. I'm going to take Kansas City at home, but I'm really hoping for a repeat of that overtime game. Mahomes, Allen, and I think Buffalo's going to bring it, because they've got 2 weeks to prepare. Man, I'm talking myself into taking Buffalo. Oh no, I might take No, I'm taking Buffalo.
Do it. Take Buffalo.
I'm doing it. I'm taking it. I hate it.
Excellent. I'm taking Kansas City. I do not bet against Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead Stadium. I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, period. My concern is those wide receivers, man. They have been my concern all season. I haven't looked at free agency yet. Look forward to Mike Spillane and I getting together at various points throughout the offseason, doing some draft breakdowns, some free agency previews, things like that. But this feels like a must-win for both. And if I know anything about football, and I've proven multiple times on this channel, I do not, but I like to pretend. Kansas City wins games they need to win. And that is why I'm going to go Chiefs here. But fuck, the 4:00 game, Sands, Vikings, Raiders, so good. So good. Normally I turn off red zone for 4:00 and I just like pick a game. Leaving red zone on this week. The Niners Seahawks game is at least is competitive. They don't like each other from the olden times. Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers. Oh, so good. So good. Broncos, Chargers in division for second place. Very important. Very important.
The CBS late game, it's got to be, it's Buffalo, Kansas City. So I will say the guarantee with this game is Tony Romo just loving on the quarterbacks throughout the entire game and just losing his mind.
He's the perfect one to call this game too, because of the quarterback battle and because of like what the defenses are going to be doing. He's the one I would want to call this game. Anyway, I like that we split this. I like we're going Bills, Chiefs opposite. Denver at the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers here because I am a glutton for punishment. I just don't have faith in that Broncos defense. I don't have faith in it. And I do have faith in Justin Herbert, if no one else. So give me the Chargies.
So why do you not have faith in that defense?
Because they're missing key players at key positions. I know they have Surtain, who is maybe the best lockdown corner in the league, but they don't have a lot of depth at that position outside of that. I know they have Justin Simmons, I think is his name. Safety, solid safety, maybe one of the top 5 safeties in the league as well. But like just not convinced. And that Chargers offensive line is very good at pass protection. So they don't, from what I understand, from what I remember, Broncos defensive line is not a stalwart. So I like the opportunity Herbert will have to throw the rock. I think he will do so. I need him to do so. He's my fantasy quarterback. So a lot of this is just me praying, but give me the Chargies.
Since the Broncos gave up 31 points to the Jets with just like, how does that happen? But since then, that was back early October. They have given up 20 or more points 3 times. And they won 2 of those games. And then the other one was last week to Houston, where they gave up 22 points. I'm in on this Denver team. I think I'm all in on Denver. I think they're going to win. I think the Chargers are a bad team. I think that the Chargers are probably going to score some points, but Denver is going to win handily. And I will say I am actually surprised that the Chargers are 3-point favorites at home against Denver, and that 61% of Yahoo Pick'em people have taken the Chargers. I would have thought Denver, on the streak that they were on, would have overcome that.
Yeah, it's honestly like, if I'm being impartial, and again, I like Justin Herbert a lot. I like Justin Herbert a lot more than at least Twitter does. I also love Russ. So this game, like, if the Chargers were playing up to their potential, would be a must-watch game for me. They are not. The Chargers, how we said Atlanta's a head coach away, the Chargers are also a head coach away. This guy does nothing but destroy the team. Khalil Mack is one of the top sack getters in the NFL, if not number one. And somehow this defense is one of the worst defenses in the NFL, called by the head coach. It is distinctly, specifically Brandon Staley's fault this team is so bad. They win games in spite of him. And because of that, because this is a divisional game, because I believe in Justin Herbert's ability, I do think the Chargers win this game. I do not like picking the Chargers in this game. And like I said, a lot of it is more wishful thinking than anything.
Nice. Yeah.
Philly at Dallas. This is a fun one.
Yep.
Who are you taking in this one?
So Philly got embarrassed last week.
Yeah.
Absolutely embarrassed.
Yeah.
Dallas, I think, was watching that game going, all right, we've got a little bit of an opportunity here. I would expect Dallas to fall flat on their face if this were in Philly. The fact that it is in Dallas, I think I'm going to take the Cowboys to win because I didn't trust Philly at 10-1. It felt like it was a false 10-1, and I think they're going to be falling back to earth here a little bit. But can we talk about how Lane Johnson is allowed to false start on every single play?
Literally every single play.
I
also saw that.
Good. I was watching that and I'm like, every play, this guy's jumping, and they're saying how he's this all pro and he's this great player. I'm like, but of course he is. He's getting a head start. And then I started reading about it this week, and this is nothing new. He's been criticized of this for, I think, years now. At this point, the league at some point just stopped caring about tackles committing false starts. I guess it used to be you had a little gas bubble moving through your intestines and they'd call a false start on you.
Oh yeah. Like if your stomach growled too loud, they were like,
false start,
offense, number this fucking guy. I agree with everything you said, except for the fact that you are taking the Dallas Cowboys. I am taking the Eagles in this game. I do not believe in Dak Prescott. I do not believe that he has a clutch gene. He is notoriously excellent against NFC East opponents. I have no doubt he will play well in this game. I think Philly is going to... I think that San Francisco loss gives them a chip on their shoulder for the rest of the season. I still think if Philly and the Niners meet in the playoffs, that if both teams are healthy, that the Niners win that game. But I agree with everything you said, except for I think Philly goes into Dallas, wins this game, and there's just a lot of tears from Cowboys fans continuously.
I will just add on the false start thing. After watching the game last week, it drives me a little nuts that people are so concerned about the tush push and trying to ban that from the game when you let an offensive lineman false start every single play. Like, that's the thing we need to ban.
And it's happened multiple times this season for multiple different dudes.
Yeah, it's not just them. You're right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, and the Kelce's talked about it on New Heights. And Jason was like, yeah, like whatever. We were, even without the brotherly shove, as they call it. He's like, we were still, he threw out a stat that they were like 24 of 26 or something like that with QB sneaks. And he was like, so it doesn't, like, we're good regardless. This is just a play that we've found that is very, very, very difficult to stop. So like, if they ban it, whatever, we'll move on. Other teams have tried it and been so bad. The Giants tried it and literally hurt 3 players. Oh. Daniel Jones got hurt on it, the center got hurt on it, and one of the guards got hurt on it. Like, it is not something that every team can do. So
it's not something everybody can do
well.
It looks like football, and I don't know if players getting hurt on this play on outrageous like a frequency, certainly not defensive players. Mm-mm. So I'm really struggling to see why anybody would want to cancel it, outside of the fact that it's not a very fun play to watch.
It is not. It is very boring to watch.
Yeah.
And like, it takes like 3 minutes to get everyone out of the pile.
Yeah. But it's so like you get down to the 2, it's a huge advantage that it's basically 1st and 8 for the Eagles. They get down to the 2, and it's like, we're just gonna push
every time. Why not?
Yeah.
And like, they added the wrinkle the other day where they made it a sweep, and I was like, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what I was personally waiting for. I was like, there's going to be a time where they line up and everyone does that thing where they dive in and they're going to go whoop, and they did.
Yep.
Get the false starts under control. Like,
yeah,
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The Eagles offensive line needs no assistance. Please.
Right.
Get it under control. Tennessee at Miami.
Miami.
Miami by 1 million. Not even fucking close.
What's the over-under? Oh, my.
Let me guess. I'm going to say 12.
Higher.
Oh, no. Is it 2 tutties? They go 14?
13.5.
So basically, holy shit. I still might go Miami.
Yeah. 1% of people are out there pulling the Craig of like, I need to pick Tennessee and hope for a miracle and try to pick up some games here.
Craig says that shit every week, and I appreciate it. You know, where he's like, I hope you're right, man. And it's like, my guy, you're playing a shitty team. You're playing a team that's below 500. Tyreek Hill's the fastest wide receiver in football. I'm not saying anything outlandish. You're the outlandish one. Oh my God. I love it though. I love it. I like that he is finally getting to see his team win, because the Dolphins have been inept for like literally always and forever.
Yeah, but he's only been a fan for a couple of years, so
that's true. He is new to the fandom, new-ish to the fandom. He's been in there for a little bit. He's been there for
a while, but he didn't grow up in the darkness like we did.
It's true. We grew up in the darkness. And then last but certainly least, Packers at Giants. Giants starting touchdown Tommy DeVito, even though Tyrod Taylor is back and healthy. I am not doing a Mike Thomas here and taking the Packers in hopes that the Giants will win. I am taking the Packers because they, at this moment, are a significantly better team than the New York Giants. And the Giants suck ass.
Yeah.
Just straight up, like mouth to butthole, suck ass.
Did Green Bay find their next quarterback already?
I don't know. He shows flashes. There's no doubt in my mind he shows flashes. But like, he was so bad like 3 weeks ago. You go back before these couple of wins that they strung together in November, and you watch Jordan Love play, and you're like, this guy sucks. And like, now you're like, oh, maybe he's a dude. And it's like, well, it can't be both. So honestly, I think he's going to be decent. I think he's going to play himself into a very nice contract, because he is due for a contract. And we'll see. I don't believe in the Packers to support a guy enough unless he's a transcendent talent. Like Brett Favre was the quarterback of a generation. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback of a generation ish. Because unfortunately Tom Brady and Peyton Manning were also in that generation. But I don't believe in the Packers enough to be able to equip guys appropriately. And honestly, a point was made. I did a TikTok on our TikTok, the Going For It pod, and asked about the Jets and them being an inept front office and everything. And my brother actually commented and said, until NFL teams realize that they need quarterbacks to sit in order to be effective, the game is going to continue to have mid players, and Zach Wilson being one of those ones that he was referencing. And I think that did so much like good for Jordan Love to sit behind a guy, see how it works, see how to play the game. And, you know, those last couple of weeks, he's really putting it together. So it's hard to argue against that. Like, not everyone is Patrick Mahomes, where you come in and you're just the best at it.
Yeah. What's up with the 2 Monday night games?
I don't know. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I want to watch. Honestly, I want to watch the Dolphins game. I don't even want to watch the Giants game. But, like.
No. Good. Hide that game.
Yeah, put that game somewhere else. But I don't know. I also noticed that as I scrolled to the bottom, I was like, we have 2 Monday night games that start at the same exact time. You didn't even stagger them a little bit?
ESPN apparently did a press release where they said the schedule change is an opportunity to, quote, transform a Sunday afternoon environment into a primetime window. Yet another reason why ESPN is so out of touch and doesn't understand sports. Like, the whole point of the primetime game is to have one game to focus on. That's the point.
And they're 2 games that are going to be fucking terrible.
Right.
Miami's going to blow out Tennessee, and Green Bay's going to run a train on the Giants. Like, you picked two of the worst games to put in primetime. I'd rather watch Miami Green Bay. That would be a better game. And so would
Yes.
Tennessee New York. Tennessee New
Yes.
York would be a better game.
That's what they need to do. Stop this flex schedule of like the schedule's consistent, move it out.
Switch
Just be like swap the games, swatch the teams.
I would love that. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, you're right. It shows how out of touch ESPN is with like everything.
And they're putting Packers and Giants on ABC, which is the easier network for people to watch, and putting the Dolphins and Titans on ESPN.
The Dolphins, the number one team in the AFC,
the greatest show on turf this year.
They really are the greatest show on turf reincarnated for at least this season. I don't know, man.
Or
ESPN,
you could watch a double box and get both games simultaneously on good old ESPN Plus.
That sounds miserable.
Yes.
I want to watch a game.
And it'll have Peyton Manning singing play-by-play for both games at the same time.
I love it. You know what? That sold me on it. I'm in now. Give me the double box Peyton Manning sing song. And
yeah,
I'm in.
As long as Tua's playing the guitar like last week, if Tua could play guitar, I'm very surprised at his choice of song that he chose to drop.
Yeah.
I respected it. And then Peyton decided, I'm going to start singing here. And I did not respect that.
That was a bad choice. Oh, not a great choice, Peyton, but we appreciate you nonetheless. Well, that I believe does it for this week.
I'm gonna throw out there.
Go ahead.
Miami's gonna win 35-10.
Okay.
And Green Bay's gonna win 24-13. So it's a one possession game for your boys.
Oh my God, we're so close. I said Tennessee. I said Dolphins win 37-17.
Okay.
I went scoregami on that one, at least for the Dolphins. And then the Giants, I said they lose 24-10.
Ooh, that's real close.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I'm excited for another week of football. Those 4:00 games have me very excited. Everything else, I could take it or leave it. But the 4:00 games have me very excited. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. We are we try and bring this to you every week. We are closing in to the end of football, which is insane to me. Week 14. What? When? How did this happen? I feel like I just had hope that I was going to watch a good football team this year, and that was dashed very quickly. But we try to bring this to you every week. We are recording on Wednesday night, obviously not Thursday night this week. Do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it. I'm going to try and be more active on the socials to be talking to you guys for listening and hanging out with us. We do greatly appreciate it. Let us know what you think of our picks and your picks down below. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate it, and we will see you all back here next time.